NBA fans, welcome back to my channel. Jordan versus LeBron. Okay, Rasheed Wallace just says the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Oh, my fault, besides LeBron being a top five player. Just ridiculous. And we're going to go over that and we're going to hit you with some stats. But first, I want to say thank you to the subscribers. If you haven't subscribe, hit the bell button so you can get the notifications. Whew. I didn't even want to do this video. I kind of seen that Rasheed Wallace throwing shade at Michael Jordan on social media. It's all over the Facebook, what do you call them, debate groups. I had to get up out there. You got the dumbest people in those groups. Well, NBA debate, legendary debate, all these groups, like, you got the dumbest people ever. It's not even a debate. These people are dumb. And the people who taught them how to debate are the Shannon Sharps, the Nick Wrights, these type of people. There's no context. There's no truth to what they're saying. It's just one-sided nonsense that makes no sense. And let me tell you something. They're making these young people dumber and dumber and dumber by the day when it comes to like logic, common sense, context, everything. They're making these people just dumb as they can be. And if you get into those groups and you try to explain anything, your post won't be viewed. They won't let your post get around. You pretty much got to be in those groups and you got to say a one-liner. You got to put up some picture and just say, oh, so Jordan wasn't that good. That's it. Because if you even write a whole sentence or a paragraph, they will not read it or it won't be viewed. The people that run those groups, they won't let your post get views. So those groups are just nonsense. So I want to talk about the NBA and where it is right now. I think it's trash. And like I told other people, the only thing that's holding the NBA up is drama. Okay? And controversy and stuff like that. Don't get me wrong. We need that in every sport. And that's why baseball went down the drain, because they put all the American players out of baseball. If you remember how American baseball was, you had great players like Andre Dawson and Kirby Puckett and Ricky Henderson and David Justice and, I could just, Dave Winfield, I could go on and on and on for days of black players that used to play back in the 80s and 90s when I used to watch it. And then they started putting the black players out in the early 2000s, and they just seemed to keep baseball alive with the steroid thing because they were putting all the black players out. That's the only thing they could keep the sport alive with was steroids. Okay, so by the time we got to about 2012, it was done. Baseball was finished. It was done because you don't have no more soap opera in baseball. And the Latino players, they're great players. Okay, to me, if you would have kept the black players and the Latino players, you would have had a super league. That's how dumb the MLB is. But they're all about money first, it seems like. And them cheating these Latino players out of money by putting them in these Caribbean leagues and bringing them up. Because if you get American players, you got to put them in the farm team in the United States and pay them like $1 million, $2 million a year until they get to the major leagues. You put them in them farm teams in the Caribbean, you're paying them like $50,000, $25,000, $100,000, and then eventually they'll get their money once they get up to the big leagues. But the money that they're saving by putting them in the farm teams in the Caribbean farm leagues is just a lot of money, but they done destroyed that sport. So anyways, like I said, the only thing that kept baseball alive for that long was the steroids, because when you kick the black players out and put the American players out, you don't have no more soap opera and drama. And it seems like the black players bring the soap opera and drama. And pretty much that's what we're looking at here with the NBA now. They're trying to hold on to this LeBron thing. Not that they're not going to have any black players, per se, if LeBron leaves, but the top guys now are international players. And American people really don't like grasp to, international players because they're not American culture and stuff like that. it's just, look at hockey. Hockey used to be better too. It used to get better ratings until they put all the American players out and they start getting all Canadian players and European players. Not that they don't have their fan base, but it used to be bigger in the 90s and the 80s when I was growing up. But that sport too, they put all the American players out for the most part. There's American players in baseball and hockey, but I'm just saying the majority are international players, and that's what the NBA is going to be in the future. If it, the top stars now are international, so this is the only thing they got to keep their league alive right now is saying stupid stuff. The NBA, because their league is dying. The players aren't that good. There's too many international players. The American players aren't great no more because they don't have no fundamentals. And you can see that with LeBron. He has no fundamentals. All he can do is dunk, grab easy rebounds, and his assists are boring. When do you ever see him like do some Chris Paul stuff or rebound like Dennis Rodman? All his stuff is like boring. Okay, so look, this is what they got to do now to keep the NBA alive. Say a whole bunch of stupid stuff that doesn't make any sense. I don't care if it's Rasheed Wallace, JJ Redick, what's his name? Draymond Green, all this stuff. That's why they let these guys get podcasts. These guys are worth tens of millions of dollars. Why would they need a podcast? Why would you? What about your game? How come you're not practicing on your game to get better? How come you're not, building camaraderie with your teammates to get better? How come everything in the NBA just ain't getting better, working on defense, but instead you guys have podcasts? Could you? They wouldn't even let these guys have something like that back in the 80s and the 90s. Okay, let's get back to the NBA. Let's get back to the way it used to be. These guys can't even play the sport right, and they got podcasts. Okay, so let's get into this. So Mike wasn't all that good of a defender. I seen this mother effer get his A busted. That's what Rasheed Wallace said. He wasn't a good defender. So let's go over his defense. So in 87, he had 100 blocks, 100 plus blocks, 200 plus steals, and didn't even make NBA first team or second team. Let that sink in. 100 plus blocks and 200 plus steals and didn't even make all NBA first or second team. If I'm not mistaken, I know he didn't make first, but I think he didn't even make second. So when we look at this, you guys say that the 80s and the 90s was trash. In the 80s was, plumbers and all this stuff. But this guy scored 37 points per game that year and didn't even get MVP. Okay, so the next year he comes back and gets 100 plus blocks and 200 plus steals. Okay, while averaging 35 points a game. And we all know what happened. He won Defensive Player of the Year. He swept all the awards in the NBA. And after that season, 4 more years in a row, the man averaged 200 plus steals a game. 4 more years after that. You guys say this guy wasn't a good defender? Wow. Okay. So let me tell you this. Kobe, what did he make? First team. Well, he made the NBA. What was it? I think 12 times he made all NBA defensive team. Okay. Kobe never had 100 blocks or 200 steals in a season. Never in his career. LeBron, he's supposed to be a freak athlete, never had 100 blocks or 200 steals in a season. Come on now. Come on now. Jordan actually did it back-to-back seasons. 100 plus blocks and 200 plus steals in back to back seasons. And then he went 4 more seasons in a row with 200 plus steals. And we're saying this guy wasn't a good defender? Like Jerry West said this guy was the best on defense and offense every single game he stepped on the floor. And we're talking about Jerry West, who I think he averaged more steals than Michael Jordan for his career. And I think they're like unofficial though, because they didn't count steals until like later on, until he like retired or something like that. But yeah, Jerry West. He Jerry West was a great two-way player. And if you want to be real, Jerry West probably top five two-way player of all time. So Jerry West knows what he's talking about. And it's just funny. Jordan, through all this, he never says nothing. Because all he knows is you just go check the stats. You go look at the stats, and these guys are idiots after that. I mean, Rasheed Wallace came into the league in the late 90s. So that wasn't defensive Jordan back then, but he still was winning what? At his position, he still was the best at shooting guard. So he was still on all NBA defensive first team. I think both years when Rasheed Wallace was in the league in the late 90s, like 97, 98. So he wasn't the best defender, and I don't think he was top five defender in the league at that time, but he was damn sure the best defender at his position. Okay? I never sit up there and seen Jordan just, you just get around Jordan or you dunk on Jordan or something like that. No. No, 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 no. No, no. You would have to earn your shot. This dude didn't like to get embarrassed. Okay? So Kobe was the same way too. I don't think Kobe was, gifted like Mike as far as like defense, but he was hard nosed about defense. LeBron, he ran out in 2012. What? No, no, no. Hold on. 2000, about 2013. He stopped playing defense. No way you ever gonna see Michael Jordan standing around. Never, ever, ever. You just ain't gonna see it. You just ain't gonna see it. So look, like I said before, the only thing that's keeping this league, every day we hear stupid stuff like this that doesn't make no sense. If you're talking about like a GOAT debate, that's fine. But when you say stupid stuff like this that doesn't make any sense, you already know what's keeping this league alive. People saying stupid stuff that doesn't make any sense. And it's making these children dumber by the day. Okay? And we talk about this stuff all the time. We making these look at the music these children listen to. You can't even understand these people. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, what kind of music is it? It ain't got no soul, it ain't got no harmony, it ain't got nothing. It's just dead music. And I hate to say it, but if you're a LeBron fan, you're an idiot. The majority of these guys just idiots. That's all I can say, because even they should be clapping back and saying, "Hey, look, we ain't that dumb. We know Michael Jordan. He was a good defender. He was this or he was that. Let's have a debate." You know what I'm saying? But his fan base, they like to antagonize. That's all they do. They don't have any facts. They know LeBron isn't that good of a offensive player or defensive player. And we'll talk about that in a minute. I got a video coming up on that.